Welcome to the Stress Detox podcast. I'm your host, Edie Gooditis. I am a stress management and embodiment coach for female leaders. I lead stress management workshops for organizations. I am a best-selling author. I also host local and international retreats, and I have online programs in addition to many other offerings. And this episode, I am sharing tangible tools to help you self-regulate with an acute stress response in the moment, as well as using practices in everyday life to rewire the neural pathways of the brain so that when something happens, you automatically will lean on or grab one of these tools from your inner toolkit to self-regulate in the moment instead of being thrown super off center and then having to research what to do, and then it taking longer for you to feel that sense of relief. So when we're navigating chronic stress, when we're navigating a lot of the low-level sorts of anxiety, sense of overwhelm or burnout, we really want to come back to the body. We want to check back in with how we're feeling internally and to cultivate that sense of safety and expand our capacity to be with these different stressors and experiences, so that we can then access more of our parasympathetic nervous system and feel most at ease with our life, regardless of what we've navigated in the past, allowing us to really step into a more regulated future and to be able to face challenge and change feeling more grounded and confident and at ease versus really thrown off center and locked in a fight and flight response. So there are quite a few tools that we can use for managing stress, and I'm just going to share my top 5 today. And I'll share other resources in the notes below for you to access for more information. The first practice is to really tune into your environment. So orienting, noticing the space you're in, noticing what's around you. I often share with clients, notice 3 things you can see, 2 things you can hear, 1 thing you can touch. So if we're in a thought spiral that's very much like I'm under attack, something is happening, and it can again be a perceived threat from sending an email and maybe being afraid of someone's response, or it might be a literal threat of being chased by a bear. We want to, though, communicate with our body and notice, okay, what is my environment? And if it's the case of you're being chased by a bear, then obviously you're going to run. But if it's you thinking that it's happening and you're sitting on your couch as I am and you're safe, then your body needs to come back home to know, like, I'm safe. We need to come back to our center. So the 3-2-1 practice can really help us shift out of that fight and flight thought pattern in the mind that's driving that internal stress response in the body. So number 1, orienting, using that practice 3-2-1, 3 things I can see, 2 things I can hear, 1 thing I can feel or touch. So again, that helps us connect with our environment, widen our perspective, interrupt that thought pattern, especially if it's just us thinking of a past experience that is not true in the present moment. And then noticing what we can feel and touch, it helps us then bring our awareness into the body. So we zoom out so we can check out what's happening. We're making sure things are safe, and then we connect in and we notice, okay, cool, I'm safe, I'm here. Another practice that is helpful with managing stress in the moment is really feeling, like literally feeling our feet on the ground. feeling if we're standing, feeling the strength of the earth beneath the feet, feeling the power in our body and the support and stability in our legs, in our feet against the ground. If you're sitting as I am, then you might be noticing, okay, sitting, I feel the couch beneath my bum, beneath my legs. I notice the chair that I'm sitting on. I feel my back supported by the back of the couch or the back of the chair. So again, connecting with body and just slowly scanning and noticing, okay, so I'm feeling this internal flightiness and needing to like run and move energy. And also, I'm just going to notice right now that like I'm here, I'm safe. The other thing too with a stress response and managing a stress response is literally following our impulses. So once we check in, once we've noticed our environment, once we checked in with our body, the impulse might be that like we do actually need to go for a walk. We do need to run. We do need to shake things out, so that we're feeling grounded and safe as we process the stored survival energy of whatever is coming up that needs to be moved out of the body. The impulse might also be that we need to send a text message or an email or a phone call. So we can follow whatever that impulse is. The impulse might be we need a hand on the heart. The impulse might be a really deep breath in and a sigh out. So noticing what your body is guiding you towards, really tracking impulse can be very helpful with like everyday maintenance, I'll say, for regulation. It's just very, very, very helpful. So yeah, so number one, orienting, using 3-2-1 as a practice. Number two is the awareness of body and space, really connecting with your feet or your seat, feeling the literal support to feel grounded and stable. Number three is then impulses, following those natural impulses to do something, to move the energy. The other one is breath. So there are a lot of breathing practices. One that is extremely powerful for in the moment, moving out of an acute stress response, fight and flight, into that parasympathetic nervous system is the physiological sigh. The physiological sigh is a double inhale through the nose and an exhale super long out the mouth. So it's like this. And what the physiological sigh does, why it's so effective, is the double inhale helps to oversaturate the lungs with breath to really expand the body with breath. And as we exhale, it really clears out any built up CO2 in the body from that stressful situation. So if you remember from a few episodes back, when we're stressed, we often hold our breath, or our breath is super shallow. So we're not getting full oxygen into the body, circulating everything as most optimal. So when we do the physiological sigh, it's getting us deeper breaths, more air, and then any CO2 that's built up in the body from us not breathing effectively, it gets released with the longer exhale. So it's a really powerful way to shift our energy. It's a really powerful practice for detoxification. And then it's really great for that regulation, coming back to homeostasis, coming back to that equilibrium where we're awake in the mind, but relaxed in the body. So the physiological sigh practice is something that you can do in the moment as a release. It's something, if you think about, if you're sobbing, if you're crying, the physiological sigh we naturally do to help us calm down, where it's like, oh, that's our body being like, okay, let's just chill. There's a lot of stress going on. Let's calm down. That's natural. Same with when we go to bed, we might do a big breath and then exhale. That's again our body recalibrating. So we do it intuitively. And it's a practice that can be really great to explore every day for like 5 cycles, 10 cycles, 20 cycles of breath for you to enjoy just like on your own when you're sitting or laying down in your space where you're supported, where you're safe, not near water. Don't ever do this stuff near water. Um, just notice how you feel. It can be a nice way to clear stuff out. And if you have a lot of limiting beliefs and judgments coming up, then this can also, breath can help us clear that out as well. So just noticing that practice for you, it might be something that you enjoy every day, like in the morning or in the evening, as a way to just recenter. And then as you practice it, then it's something that you automatically have. So in the moment, if you're like, oh my God, all this stuff is happening, I feel so overwhelmed and like, I don't know how I'm going to deliver on X, Y, and Z. And why is this person not understanding me? And I just like wish I could stop time and da 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 da. It's like in that moment, you're spiraling and your breath is getting shallower and everything's feeling more intense. You can be like, okay, right, breathe. And you might do that a few times and just notice. And then it's like, okay, wait, let's just pause for a moment and let's look at everything, zoom out. What are my priorities? How can I manage this? Is this narrative, is this story I'm creating true about this whole experience? So it gives us that pause to then check back in where we're not in as much of a triggered state. The other thing that can feel helpful as one of the impulses is stomping and shaking. So if you are feeling really like stressed out or had like a weird interaction with someone and you're feeling like you need to just move and shake it out, that's a natural impulse to move that energy. So again, you can notice then when you check in with your environment and you check in with your body, and then you're like, I just really need to shake, like honor that then and shake. And then take a moment and you might bring a hand to the heart and you might connect back with another breath practice that I love to share with clients called 4-6 breathing, where you inhale for a count of 4 and you exhale for a count of 6. And the reason I suggest this after stomping or shaking, or if the impulse is to go for a run or a bike ride or swimming or something super active to really move that energy, we want to get grounded after. We don't want to shake everything out and then just like keep going on through our day, because we can still feel dysregulated in that moment. So then it's easy for us to get re-triggered because we're already kind of like in that space. So we want to shake it out and then take a second to reorient, to come back to feeling our body in space, feel our feet on the earth, notice our breath. Notice if there's another impulse. The impulse might be that we need to shake some more. The impulse might be, okay, I need a hand on my heart right now. I need to take a few slow breaths to just like come back home, come back to center, come back to this moment and just breathe and get grounded. So with that, I guess a bonus tool for self-regulation and helping to reduce stress is also the hand on the heart. Feeling physical touch in a loving, gentle way can be very, very soothing for the body. Obviously, if your experience with touch is a lot more traumatic, then this is something that you will probably want to explore more slowly and with the support of a counselor or a therapist to guide you through the experience as you reconnect with self. Or you might find that placing a hand on different parts of the body might feel safe or more safe or comforting than other parts, if the other part of the body is related to that traumatic experience. So just noticing that with yourself. I know in my own experience, linking back to a narrative I had where I had such deep hate for my body because I felt everything was so against me with what I was navigating, which really were signals that I was locked in chronic stress. For myself, I didn't feel comfortable touching my body because I was so angry at myself. So I didn't even want to put my hands on my body. It was a lot of shame and a lot of anger. And through this practice of regulation and through mindfulness, through yoga, through meditation, I've gradually expanded my capacity to be with myself. I've deepened my connection with self in a loving way. So now placing a hand on my heart does feel really comforting. Placing a hand on my belly does feel comforting. Placing a hand on my arms and kind of rubbing up and down my arms as a way to self-soothe if I'm feeling really triggered by something. This all now feels really good, where before it did not. So just noticing with what I'm sharing for you, what feels safest right now, and know that you'll be able to, like, you can also change your relationship with these tools as you heal your nervous system and your body, and you're able to release some of the experiences that might be really triggering the present responses. So transformation is possible, healing is possible. It takes time, it takes a lot of faith, I guess, is a great way to say it, in your own healing capability. And then that deeper trust has also been really helpful with me. So, yeah, so just to recap before we sign off. So, one is orienting. Number two is just really becoming aware of your body in space, feeling the presence of the earth beneath you, feeling the presence of the chair or the couch beneath you. Number three is following your impulses. So really honoring your body, honoring that intuitive nudge to move, to shake, hand on heart, deep breath, send some, like, write something down, whatever that impulse is, giving yourself the permission to honor that, coming back to feeling grounded after you honor that. And it might be like I shared, physiological sigh, so a breath practice that can be really powerful for moving energy and bringing us back in towards regulation. Also, 4-6 breathing can be really grounding after we do something that's a more expressive release to get grounded again. And then using physical touch in a gentle way, as well as also mantra. So I am safe. Body, I am here. I am listening. I am supported. I am safe. Thank you, body. I love you. I love me. I love myself. And those can take time. Again, 5 years ago, saying I love myself, no way. Thinking I was beautiful, no way. Talking to my body as if I'm 5 years old and saying I'm here, I'm safe, no way. I thought that counselors and my therapist were a bit nuts. So it takes time depending on what your judgments, your narratives of the subconscious mind are. And it's possible to shift if you're wanting and willing to experience life in a different way, and if you're desiring to feel more integrated, more whole within yourself. And truly, these tools are directly connected with toning the vagus nerve. So using eye movements can help with strengthening signal in the vagus nerve. Humming and chanting can help with strengthening the signal that we have for sending messages to the parasympathetic nervous system. Deep breaths where we're really getting into the low belly, where all of the vagus nerve endings kind of end, can be really soothing for stimulating that connection. Tapping lightly on the chest is another way to stimulate because of where it runs down towards the heart and lungs. And then a gentle hand on heart can be really supportive and nourishing for the vagus nerve for that stimulation. And then there's also movement practices and cold exposure and a whole bunch of other things. But truly, the mindfulness, meditation, gentle movement, breath are ways that directly support stress management and directly support that strengthening of the vagus nerve. So I hope this is all helpful to you. I hope you can see how you can use these tools in many cases in the moment, as well as daily practices to enjoy in your own life when you're not as triggered, to help you slowly come out of chronic stress and to help you then have these tools available whenever something does happen that's highly triggering, so that you can self-regulate using this inner resource to recenter and reground and regulate, so that then you're taking action and making decisions from a space of feeling integrated versus feeling disconnected and just like in that fight and flight reactionary mode. Yeah. So, as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you have questions or comments, please share below or please send me an email. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, or week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.